Chapter 19. Sifis. Sifis stood on an open plain, a war guild held in stasis, a bomb about to explode. The fair was gone. The merchants had moved out. The land outside of Shahab lay vacant. Only Sifis remained. Halfway between the new train station and the capital's gates, it lingered, motionless, in the path of progress. Some buildings were being built around the train, and the road that went to the settlement was becoming worn. The soldiers loitered outside the tents. Camp girls emerged, yawning from their tents, brushing dust from their skirts, already heading back towards the edge of town. Rohma sat aside Kedesh, watching. The air felt violent. She breathed and calmed herself. "I will go make friends," she whispered. Discontentment and an unsettled imbalance hung on every face she saw. Rohma slid off Kedesh's back and released the animal. She watched the horse wander to a bit of grass, worried only for a moment that someone would take her. Good luck with that, she sighed. It would be like stealing a demon. The wind picked up dust as she walked. The few people nearby covered their eyes to block the dust. No one stopped her as she approached Hoya's tent, the same tent, in the same place, where everyone's life had changed. Rohma paused at the door. She listened to the air, to the tent. Was he asleep? No. Outside of the Sifis encampment, Edic rode. His horse was panting. He eased her to a walk and slid off, jogging next to her. He barely noticed the short-step pony wandering outside the lonesome Sifis camp. He continued on the road, driven to find her and stay at her side, always. Hoya, Rohma walked in. The man sat at his desk, glass in hand. He hadn't slept. "Oh, it's you." "What are you still doing here?" "Sifis. We have guard jobs," he said, standing up. "Why are you here?" "To check on you." "Because we're friends." Hoya laughed joyously. "Because you're an investment of sorts. I helped you get here, Hoya. I'd like to see you stay." "We can become friends." Rohma looked at the chair across from him. Hoya sat. "Everyone has the motivation, you know." Hoya shrugged. "I'm not new to that. I've always known." Hoya nodded. She took a risk. "You are trapped between two enemies who'll sacrifice you the second you give them any support." Hoya nodded. "You're aware then?" She wasn't. It was a guess. But one she felt she could bet on. "Yes, but tell me more, from your perspective." "Why would you help me?" Rohma laughed slowly and gently, the way a mother humors a child. "Hoya, you stand between daggers, pointed from all sides. I'm here to help. And you're wasting time interrogating my motivation?" "I'm here to gain favor, a debt, naturally." "Naturally," he agreed. He was sweating. "It's Lutan Var and Mirec. They were a problem before June left, and now they see an opportunity." Rohma nodded. "What jobs do you have?" "A big job to the east. Mirec favors it. I do too. It'll be profitable, but dangerous. I expect we'll meet the Black Oath. They're larger than us, yes, but we predict that they will be split. I have it on good authority that they have another job." Rohma considered. The Black Oath. That's no small task. When was the last time Sifis met them on field?" "Last year. But we were supported by Ravenhook Guild and some trained locals. We won the day, but it was close." "If it's only half the oath, you could win easily." But there's a greater prize on the board." Hoya eyed Rohma. "If it's too risky for Sifis, Tassos couldn't take it." This was true. Rohma knew Hoya knew it. "Khudald. They're extending the track to the east, to the foot of the mountains." "Why? There's no way through." "They're trying to find one." "So the job is to fight every landowner between here and the West Mountains?" "That's brash. The payoff is a possible path through the mountains?" "It could change everything. Imagine, instead of having to carry goods to Zahrun, then a boat to reach Arthurion, a train goes through the Barrier Mountains." "They're called the Barrier Mountains for a reason, Hoya. You and Mirec are right. It's a gamble and reckless. Side with Mirec. Be done with it." "I can't," Hoya grumbled. If I don't side with Lutan, he'll challenge me in combat. Of course, he would easily kill me. Hoya rubbed the back of his neck, holding down panic. Mirec won't fight in my stead. It came out as a desperate whisper. Why not? He won't win. Hoya was on the edge of tears, but a pained smile flashed on his lips. Good thing I listened to you. So, you're stalling. I need a champion, Hoya whispered with intensity. Edic knocked on the door of the Akawan Guild's main house. He was filthy from the road. His lips were chapped, and he stank of horse and sweat. The door opened. Deliveries to the back. The door was closed again. Edic kicked it. It flung loose from the man's hand and slammed against the wall. Edic flushed. I'm sorry. I'm here for Rohma. The man stood aghast, looking at Edic as if he might bite. Edic waited, flustered and exhausted, but in no way willing to accost this man. Unless he made him wait much longer. Yashira entered the foyer. She has gone to Sifis for business. That woman, he thought. She just got out of... Is she well? He said. She recovered from her incident, Yashira affirmed. She is doing guild work. Not without me. Edic climbed back on his mount and rode away. The horse slowed, and Edic slept for a moment. He had slept in seconds on horseback, in jolts. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw her in danger. He jerked awake and continued. He was almost there. Rohma considered quietly. I can take him, hand to hand, privately. You, him, me, and Mirec. Hoya gaped. Edic gaped. You're going to box him? He hesitated. Is this a trick? A hidden knife? Something like that. No. If they suspect I'm cheating, it'll be full-on mutiny. Lutan's men against Mirec's? It's a nice idea, but no. Even if you could beat him fairly, no one would believe it unless they saw it. I could negotiate with him, perhaps. Sure, if you want. Where can I find Lutan? His tent? The one with green. I'm sure he's sleeping. I'll wake him. Rohma stood and left. The curtain swished behind her. For a moment, she blinked in the sunlight, waiting for her eyes to adjust. Rohma found the tent with green, in this case, meaning several green patches. She approached and steadied her breathing as she moved. Her training was making her unshakable, but inside it was a different story. Under her calm, part of her wanted to run. She continued regardless. At the opening, she listened again. Snoring. Rohma pressed her palms against her stomach, trying to steady herself. I'll walk in and wake Lutan. We'll negotiate. And if that didn't work, I'll break into the castle of his mind and rearrange the furniture. Rohma pulled the curtain back, letting light spill in. Rohma! She jumped, turning. The voice was familiar, but impossible. Her mask broke. The fear reached her face. Edic? She wanted to run to him, but stumbled. Her legs shook. She was completely ruined. With only a few strides, he had her in her arms. Finally. His hand coiled in her hair, cradling her head. She looked up at him. Her mouth quivered, and her eyes swelled with tears. Why? Edic shook his head, gazing down into her dark eyes. Her hand caressed his cheek. I will never leave your side again, he whispered. His arms tightened around her as he pulled her close and kissed her. And there, in the middle of the Sifis camp, Rohma's life changed. Again. Her powers unfurled with his touch. The ravens flew over the terrain of his life. She observed it all, touching nothing. In the center of the world that was him, the world of Edic, was his love for her. And she was in awe. Rohma wanted to float in that kiss forever, but urgency and no small amount of training pulled her back to reality. We're in danger. He smiled down at her like a half-wit. I know, he answered, his eyes sparkling. Hoya heard Rohma's name being called and peered out of his tent. The mad woman was intertwined with some road-weary mercenary. He couldn't tell if it was one of his. Hoya pulled back the curtain. That's not Lutan, he stated dryly. Edic glanced at Hoya. Lutan? He swayed. Rohma smacked his chest with her open palm. I was going to negotiate. That's fine, Edic said dreamily. caressing Rohma's face. Let's go punch him. Edic took a step towards Lutan's tent. Wait! Hoya reached out to them. In here! They all ducked into Hoya's tent. You're Edic of the Karagul, he declared, the mystery unraveled. Edic squeezed Rohma. Yeah. Edic grinned again, unsteady. Rohma, this is my champion. Hoya grinned, overjoyed, and gestured to Edic. Is he drunk? Rohma was about to explain. Then Edic's knees buckled. He dropped like a fallen tree. She gasped, catching his shoulders. What's wrong with him? Hoya shouted. Rohma dropped beside him, checking his pulse. He ran here, she said, voice thin. Edic blinked up at her, dazed. I found you. Let's get you on a mat. Rohma tried to help him crawl and gestured for Hoya to drag him close. Edic lay down, his feet dangling off the edge. Will he be able to fight? Hoya asked nervously. Rohma's head spun around. Yes, after he sleeps. Bring water and food. Make sure no one comes here until tomorrow morning. Your life depends on it. Rohma started on his boots. Then the process of unbuckling a sleeping man in full armor. Hoya lingered, peering at him. Go, Hoya, she ordered. Then he slipped from the tent. Rohma's shoulders relaxed when she heard the curtain flutter. You stupid idiot. She held his head between her hands and kissed him. She whispered without using her ability. Sleep. I'm safe. Just sleep. Rohma kept working, quickly and carefully, pulling off the armor. Where she couldn't get to, she loosened. He barely noticed. She finally pulled his chest plate loose, and his arm snatched her in his sleep. She pushed the armor away as he pulled her into him. Rohma let him, feeling his breath slow and steady. Outside of Sifis, Kedesh and Tömör grazed together.